Speaking of the fan community, we're all from it.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
So our reaction so far to hearing that there's a big battle change, and it's
Yeah.
obviously different than the book. What can you tell fans about Stephenie Meyer's approval and involvement with making that happen?
Well, I mean, you could talk to her later, but it was her idea along with Melissa Rosenberg. They cooked it up one night at dinner, you know. So I think it was. She'll tell you more about it, but she was intimately involved in every aspect of this production, and certainly in the creation of that idea, and then kind of the beats of the battle is stuff that's writing, you know, and that's stuff we talked through as I was putting together that previs and everything. It's she was right there, you know. Laura.
Can you talk just a little bit about, has there been any kind of effect of you being a director on these films? Have you seen any effect on your career? I mean, are the job offers different, or are you looking at job offers different? Or?
No, actually, you know, I would say no. It seems I'm about to do a movie that's really at the same scale as the movies I made before. So, yeah, no, it's not like I'm. It's always you're looking for something that's going to really excite you, you know. So far, nothing.
Hi, Bill. Can you talk a little bit about the CGI process that went into this? I mean, it seems to me that we have, you know, just with Mackenzie Foy, that must have been an incredible challenge.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I think it was the biggest. You know, we had over 2,000 visual effects shots on BD2, and we just finished them a few days ago, frankly. The biggest challenge was Renesmee, because the conceit of the movie, it's taking the idea in the book and kind of multiplying it. You know, is that she'd go down the hall for a you know a Coke and come back and she would have grown an inch. You know, that she's growing very, very fast. You know, so that every time we see her, she is the size of a, you know, she starts as a baby, 4-month-old, 6-month-old, and it's 2, 3, 4, 5 until she gets to the size of Mackenzie Foy, which is around 8. So, you know, this is a process that's been done on a few movies. We had a great special effects team, Lola, who are the past masters of this. But this is a real challenge because it's trying to imagine Mackenzie Foy, take what we know of her, and imagine her at all those different ages, and making it photoreal and making it also connect in the scenes, you know. So very, very, very complicated stuff, you know, that we were, again, still working on a few days ago. I think the saving grace is that Renesmee is such a special creature, you know. She isn't entirely human. So if there are things that are odd about it, I think that sort of plays into what's odd about Renesmee.
Bill, you mentioned the studio involvement a minute ago about how they
Yeah.
prevented this from becoming as bloated as perhaps some franchises do. Could you elaborate on that a bit, just about how they approached this and the differences in working with Summit Lionsgate?
Yeah, well, it was Summit on this movie, and I think they are used to making independent movies, so they didn't change that. You know, it was no frills, and I like that. You know, I think it wasn't. And I think, you know, the three leads have become huge movie stars, but it wasn't a big movie star experience for them either, you know. There are these additional expenses that are crazy. You know, I think there's over $1 million in something called set containment, which is just people making sure that people can't get in, you know. That wouldn't have been true of the first movie, you know. But I think it was always the spirit of this film was that it does, you know, it is a fantastical story, but it is a very intimate one too. And I think it would have betrayed it to somehow become something with, you know, 300 people behind the scenes every day, you know. So yeah, I think it's the way they make movies.
Okay, we have one more question. Time for one more.
I really like this film. It's really beautiful shooting. The shot. It's the scenario. Especially toward the ending, the location, the kind of like a big, the wide open on the ice.
Yeah.
Could you talk about the challenging for the location, scenario,
Sure.
how the weather challenging, these kind
Yeah.
of things?
Oh, absolutely. And Gerwin Navarro is the cameraman who I think did a beautiful job. Yeah, I mean, throughout this obviously is a film that goes around the world, and we didn't go around the world, you know, so that we created, you know, that little bit of Egypt in Baton Rouge, you know, and London was in New Orleans, and all that, with then shots that we picked off in places, and then the field. Right from the start, right from reading it, I really, there was an option to go back to the feel that had been in previous movies, but I really did see it as this vast expanse of snow of white, and to make it very formal. Like they were, maybe it was almost like inspiration from the book cover, but it was like chess pieces moving across a board, and the kind of power and majesty of the Volturi against the Cullens, who were just kind of, defenseless and outnumbered. You want to reflect that in the landscape. Where did you shoot that? Well, the big field scene, that is on and I sort of hate to give this away, but on a green screen stage in Baton Rouge. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you all very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks very much.